Hey, what's up everybody? It's Justin at S&K Greenhouse. I'm down in my garden today. If you've been following this channel for a while, you'll know that last November I did a video on overwintering my pepper plants. Now, we are in zone 7B. I'm in Shelby, North Carolina, and last November, I think somewhere around the middle of the month, we started to head for those frosty nights, and I got my shovel. I dug up 4 of my pepper plants and I started putting them in 20-gallon containers. I then placed the peppers inside my greenhouse, kept the temperature at 55 degrees, and I pulled them out about a month ago, and I think the results are going to surprise you. And here we are. It's about the middle of May, and you can see these peppers have flushed out just great. This is the Carolina Reaper here, the Ghost Pepper, Cayenne, and Trinidad Scorpion. If you remember back in the video, I also dug up a sweet pepper, but I didn't save it. I don't even know what happened. I don't remember what I was thinking at the time. Maybe I didn't have enough room, but I don't even remember putting it in a bucket and trying to save it. But as you can see, I did save my hot peppers. Many of you commented and was concerned that I would have peppers at the exact same time as if I planted new peppers this year. But as you can see, we're in the middle of May, and the Cayenne at least has produced not only green peppers already, but it's had time to have peppers long enough where they're actually turning red. I think the reason a lot of people don't have success overwintering their peppers, or at least keeping their peppers alive, but having peppers the same time if they would have just planted a fresh one at the start of the year. The difference is these were kept in really great growing conditions. Again, the temperatures really never dropped below 55, 50, and these had solid light throughout the whole day. In the wintertime, you have shorter days, and it's tricky to find that spot where it'll get continuous sun all day. Again, mine were in a greenhouse where from sun up to sundown it had maximal amount of light, so these peppers never really went dormant. Now the other 3 peppers don't have pods on them just yet, but I am seeing blooms, and it'll be just a matter of time before the peppers start forming. So this is my very first time attempting to overwinter in peppers. So would I do it again? Absolutely. I feel like this is going to speed up the process, and I'll have peppers much sooner this year than if I would have planted fresh. But there are a couple things I would have done differently. The first thing I would have done differently is I would have shook off, or at least trying to brush off some of that native soil. As you can see, when I dug them up, I left a lot of the native soil from the raised beds, and I placed it in the container, and I feel like that caused pest problems later down the road. If I would have brushed off more of that native soil and put it in more fresh potting soil that was sterile, I don't think I would have had problems as much with insects. Right around January, I had an episode of fungus gnats. I just walked into the greenhouse one day and these things were covered, and it had to come from the soil that was in the raised beds. They just hatched out later on, and I had to use lots of treatment of neem oil several times on the foliage, and I even did a neem oil drench right into the soil to try to get rid of them. It took me a couple weeks, but I think that I could have avoided it if I just would have took the time to put it in completely sterile soil. The second thing I would have done differently is prune them back prior to digging them up. I could have planned a little bit better. Like I said, I dug them up like literally the night before it was going to frost, and I put them in these pots and then I cut them back. And I feel like they went through way too much shock. At one point, I was a little bit worried about them. Some of them dropped their leaves, and I felt like I just kind of willy-nilly'd it and could have planned a little better. If I were putting these inside my house in a little bit closer quarters, a few days or a week before I was going to dig them up, I'd have pruned prior and let them kind of get over the shock of that, and then dig them up and put them in pots. And definitely if I was growing them inside, I would have placed them in a south-facing window. That way it would have got sunlight throughout the day and would have kept them from going in complete dormancy. Overall, I would call this a success. I am going to have peppers earlier this year, and I'll probably end up leaving these pepper plants in these pots permanently and just see if I can keep them year after year and see if I can not grow some pepper trees. Hey, we are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, so if you hadn't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us, especially if you want to learn cool gardening tips like this. Until next time, become a plant person.